7 o'clock Mass out in the parking lot this morning, and such a beautiful morning. And with this feast of the Ascension, I told them that I was kind of kicking myself that I didn't bring along one of those, inflated mylar balloons and just let it go at one point so we could all feel like the apostles as we were standing there, just watching it go up and up and up and up. And I said, but I didn't do that. And sure enough, 20 minutes later, right over here, we had a hot air balloon just go flying by. And I said, well, it's not Mylar, and I hate it when my visual aids are late, but nevertheless, it was neat. But that's kind of what we associate with the Ascension. Watching Jesus just go up and up. If that happened today, we might be inclined to ask, I wonder if they're picking him up on radar. But all of that, in a way, I think, keeps us in a bit of a state of confusion because we continue to think that heaven is a place and it's up there. We all use that metaphor. I hope that when my time comes that God invites me to take the up escalator, not the down one. But it's much more than that. Okay, we have parameters that we use of place and time. And in spiritual realms, that just doesn't exist. It doesn't have any meaning. So saying, Jesus went up. Well, how far up did he go before he got to where he was meant to go? No. Christ went to heaven, but he didn't go far away. For those who think that heaven is a long way off, believe it to be a place like London or Mars or the Milky Way. But God is near us in everything. Christ went to heaven, but he didn't leave the earth. For those who think that heaven is somewhere else, don't understand his size and how he is part of everything and works through all things. God is at the heart of everything. Okay, so if it's not about watching things go up, then what is this ascension really about? Well, it's about making Christ's resurrection even more of a complete statement. As I said at the beginning of Mass, that Christ in his resurrected form, Christ as he returned to the Father, transcended or went beyond every single limitation or defining mark that we have. The Ascension says, reminds us if we haven't gotten it already, that Christ is now unlimited. And so he is not just with the Father, as he said in the gospel. He is with us more than ever. You disciples, from both then and now, don't stand there looking up to the clouds. Don't be alarmed, for he is standing behind you. He is in you. He wants to keep working through you. Get moving. And maybe that's what the Feast of Christ's Ascension says to us as much as anything. Yes, Christ says, I am going to continue my work, but those of you that are my followers, those of you who say that you love me, do you love me enough that you will take up my work, that you will let me do it through you, rather than just sitting back and saying, well, God will take care of it. For the Feast of the Ascension, those two words, all of us, get moving. But we're not sure. How do I do that? How do we do that? The apostles didn't know how to do that until the Spirit came to them at Pentecost. We know. Christ has shown us. Sometimes we don't realize that he has shown us that we are smarter than we think, braver than we believe. One night, a father decided that his son was now old enough to go out to the barn to feed the horses. The boy, however, told his father that he was afraid of the dark. The father stepped out onto the porch with the boy, lit a lantern, gave it to his son, and asked him how far he could see as he held up the lantern. I can see halfway down the path, said the boy. I'll call him back. The father directed his son to carry the lantern halfway down the path. When the boy reached that point, the father asked the boy how far he could see now. The boy called back to the father that he could see to the gate. The father urged the boy to walk to the gate. And when the boy was at the gate, the father asked how far he could see now. I can see the barn, came the boy's reply. The father encouraged the boy to go to the barn and open the door. When the boy finally shouted back that he was at the barn and he could see the horses, father simply called, "Good, now feed them," and stepped back into the house. That's us. Christ has shown us the way. But like the apostles, sometimes we have to take little steps, but we have to keep moving forward. God hasn't deserted us, saying, you go do it, you take care of it. No. But he's also saying, it's not just my kingdom. It's not just my son's kingdom. It is meant to be your kingdom as well. And you've got to help build it. The pastor asked a small boy, Can you tell me who made you? The youngster thought a moment. Then he looked up at the pastor and said, God made part of me. What do you mean, part of you? Said the pastor. Well, answered the boy, God made me little. I grew the rest myself. Growing the rest is a lifetime calling for us all. Little bits at a time. Into the darkness, into the uncertainty. Trusting that we are not alone. We are not forgotten. Christ ascended that we might know that he is with us always.